Good morning, everybody. My name's Amadio. I am the Michigan Keto Boss. That's what I'm calling myself for right now. Embarked on a ketogenic lifestyle for the last few months. I've made the shift. I was bodybuilding for the last 6 years, and I've done multiple types of carbohydrate, high fat, low carb, high carb, low fat, high protein, all the typical standard diets that competitors choose to embark on in this lifestyle. But I basically switched to keto, but this is not a ketogenic type of post. This is more about dieting in general and lifestyle changes that need to occur for that to be successful. So we're going to kind of dive right into a few things that are important to establish good habits that are going to ensure long-term success with your new diet and your new lifestyle. So dieting in general, lifestyle, we'll start there. I want you guys to take a look into your habits and your lifestyle. Where do you typically eat? Where do you shop? Where do you on the weekends? Does that fit into this new lifestyle change? Are you ready for change? Is this something you're ready to do? Do you want this bad enough to make the changes and have the discipline to see it through? Because if you're not, then just keep doing what you're doing, because it's not worth the roller coaster. I would always say, if you fall off the horse, get back on. But a lot of times, if you're not ready to make the commitment, just save yourself the frustration. What is your why? Is there a really deep-seated reason why you want to change your eating habits and your lifestyle? Are you overweight? Are you trying to tone up for a vacation? Do you just want to feel better? Are you sick and tired of having low energy? Do you want that to improve? Do you have a support system? Is your spouse on board? Is your family on board? Have you discussed these things amongst each other and your friends so that way they can support you when you make these new decisions? The worst thing to do is to go on to a diet, and every time you go out, and this is going to happen whether you stop drinking, you start a new diet, everybody's going to say, oh, you're doing the stupid diet, yada, yada, yada. Why are you doing this? You can have a cheeseburger, you can have a donut. It's not their life. This is for you. These are changes we're making for ourselves. So don't bother listening to the bullshit. You don't have to be confrontational. Nobody's trying to prove a point. We're all living our own best life here. This is our opportunity to make our own changes. And who gives a shit what everybody else is doing? It doesn't matter. This is for us. Again, so now that we've covered why you're doing it, why you want to do it, do you have support? Have you prepared your life for these changes? Things have to change. Sometimes your habits have to change, your shopping habits have to change, your social habits have to change. Do you know where you're starting from? Have you given yourself a good assessment of where you're at and where you want to be at the end? Those things can make or break the way you feel mentally regarding a dieting. So just be realistic. Understand this isn't going to happen overnight. This is a long-term commitment. Health and fitness is not something that we can snap our fingers and boom, you've dropped 20 pounds of fat and you're in great shape. It takes years and years, but over time you see progress, and progress keeps you motivated. So first thing to do, establish your macros. Figure out your basal metabolic rate. Where do you stand now? How many calories are you burning? How active is your lifestyle? What is it going to take to maintain yourself in your current setting? Prepare a menu. What types of food are you going to eat once you've established your macros and you're trying to meet those nutritional goals based on your proteins, fats, and your carbohydrates? Once you know your BMR, you can then set yourself up to be in a deficit. We can adjust carbohydrates, proteins, and fats to suit those macronutrient needs and caloric needs that are required. And you can set yourself up in a deficit to allow some weight loss to occur. Are you going to be cooking your own food? Do you have the time to cook and prepare meals ahead of time so that way it makes it easier to grab and go when needed? People tend to get discouraged when they don't have time. A lot of us are busy, but a simplistic diet is best. You're going to find ways as you become more fluent in your new habits and you're going to find ways to create meals that taste better in general. So start simple, add on as you go, and make subtle changes. This is not a cold turkey type situation. You can baby step your way into this. If your dieting and eating habits are way up here and you want to be here, you got to bring it down slow. You can't deprive yourself of the things that you're so used to eating cold turkey. It just won't work. I recommend MyFitnessPal for a week. Track your eating habits, input the foods you eat. Don't throw any regard to the fact that you're using a food calculator and recording system. So do not censor your eating habits. Eat the way you normally eat every day so you can see a very honest baseline of the food you're consuming and how many calories you're consuming and your average carbohydrates, fats, proteins, etc., etc. Then from that list of foods, which I'm sure there's probably going to be a lot of unhealthy things on there, and we're all guilty of having simple pleasures, chocolate milk, alcohol, fast food, French fries, sugar-filled sodas and drinks, too many sugar-filled coffee drinks, iced coffees, cappuccinos, it doesn't matter. Look at your eating habits the way they are today, not the way you want them to be and not the way they're going to be. Look at that list of foods, and then to start off, take one thing away every couple days. Excuse me. So if you realize chocolate milk is something you love, but it's packed with calories and fat, although not an unhealthy alternative for calorie sources, if that is throwing your balance off, I would probably say eliminate sugar first. First and foremost, get rid of pop. If you're drinking pop, go to diet, go to tea, drink water with flavored Mio. Start to get yourself accustomed to different types of drinks that do not contain corn syrup or natural sugar. Stay away from those. Get those out of your diet. Let that go a couple days, and then you're going to see changes. By eliciting change, you're going to see a metabolic response, which means you're going to have fat loss. Weight loss is going to occur just from eliminating all those simple sugars that are contributing to insulin spikes, raised glucose levels, fat transportation and storage depending on when you are consuming fats in conjunction with your carbohydrates. Outside of that, take it slow. Do that for a week or two in preparation for this new diet. And then, excuse me, I'm sorry. Phantom footage. I don't know where that stuff comes from, but I just got one. So let's get back into this. Make those subtle changes. I want you to have a clear picture of how you've been living your life, how you've been eating, and what you've been doing. So if you can do that, you got to be honest with yourself. You can't bullshit it. You can't come at it like, I'm going to eat healthy because I know I'm tracking myself and I'm embarrassed of some of the foods I'm eating. Who cares? You need to be honest with yourself in every situation to make a direct assessment to elicit direct change. So don't lie to yourself. It doesn't help because you know you're lying to yourself. You can't fool yourself. So with that, establish a meal, establish your macros, establish your basal metabolic rate, prepare a food menu, go shopping, prepare those foods and prep those foods so they are available so you can begin this journey successfully. And then from that point on, we can gravitate further and get more disciplined as time goes on. But for right now, establish the basics. You need the basics in place. This is a new lifestyle change. It's a big one, and it's going to take time for you guys to become fluent and comfortable and confident in these changes to be able to make those choices when needed. When you're in a situation where you have a craving or peer pressure or social settings put you in a situation where you don't know what foods you can eat and what you can't. Don't just throw disregard to the fact that you're on a new diet because you're out and you don't know what to eat. So educate yourself, figure out what kind of foods you can have, how many calories, how many fats, and start slow. That doesn't mean you can't have certain things, but establish some new habits first before you go hog wild saying, hey, I can have this the first week in your diet. You're gonna slip up and cheat on the weekend. All that's going to do is just backpedal. You're gonna backpedal into a situation and you're gonna give up because you got to establish some discipline first. These are new habits and they're not always easy to change. So with that, guys, this is I'm going to keep this short. This is it for today. Dieting in general. Key points. How do you live? What are your habits? Do your habits support currently a lifestyle change that will support a healthier living? Are you ready for change? Is this something you want bad enough to work for it? It's not easy. You got to work for this, guys. What is your why? Why do you want this? There has to be something driving you beyond vanity. Vanity is great, but it doesn't sustain long term. You got a support system. Is your family on board? Friends? Does everybody want to see you succeed? If they don't, think about the people you surround yourself with. Have you prepared your life? Do you know where you stand metabolically? What is your basal metabolic rate? What are your macros going to be? And what type of deficit? If you put yourself into a deficit of 300 calories per day to start, over the course of a week, that's 2,100 calories. Just shy of a pound of fat, but a pound of fat is a lot. Prepare a food menu. Make sure you have all the healthy foods outlined that you're going to eat to make it easier. Do not overcomplicate it. And are you going to use a food prep service? Do you have help to prepare food for at least 2 to 3 days for the basics? Some things you can cook. You can plan to have a meal at home, a meal or 1 or 2 meals after you get home from work. The biggest thing is when you're away from the house, are you prepared? Be it a protein shake, you guys don't always have to consume whole food all day. There are sources and alternatives to beginning on a new diet endeavor that's going to allow you to be successful. You can refine things. You can become more punctual with the foods you eat, but let's just get started. Let's make it easy at first, and the more disciplined and the more confident you feel, then you can tighten the shoelaces a little bit and the bootstraps, and you can really run away with this and conform it to your life once you're comfortable. That's basically it. Let's keep it short. Let's start there, and then we will continue to the next few steps that are involved in maintaining a healthy lifestyle, guys. I hope that was helpful.